Hey guys, I had an entirely different video for you planned today, but I'm still going to work that in because there's an overall message dealing with life and how precious and important and short it is that I'll tie into this whole thing. So I'm sure you've heard by now over the weekend, unfortunately, we've lost two very prominent figures in their respective worlds. So Brad Allan, Jackie Chan stunt team member, stunt coordinator, stunt fighter, etc. He passed away on August 7th, 2021 at only 48 years old. I mean, that is really young. Now, I talked about him a little bit on some videos I did with another great martial artist, Ron Swarnberg, because we were talking about the Jackie Chan film, Who Am I? And he had doubled Ron Swarnberg on some of the fight scene against Jackie Chan at the end of that film. But Brad Allan would be the first Westerner, the first non-Asian ever to get into Jackie Chan's stunt team. That's how amazing he was. He started his martial arts training at 10, acrobatics, gymnastics, everything. Got into wushu, trained with some of those guys. But anyway, long story short, really prominent figure on Jackie Chan's stunt team, and he would go on to coordinate huge Hollywood films. Chronicles of Riddick was one of them. I like to point that out because I'm a big Vin Diesel fan. More recently, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, this big Marvel film coming out. So here's the thing when it comes to someone like Brad Allan or the late John Meadows, which, IFBB pro, coach, bodybuilder, really nice guy. Like everybody in the fitness community, bodybuilding world, that's the one thing they'll say about him. Aside from like him being extremely knowledgeable, such a nice guy, down to earth, family man. So he did a live Q&A on August 6th, looked perfectly fine, perfectly healthy, and just a couple days later, he doesn't wake up. 49 years old. Such a tragedy, but just kind of lets you know, man, like any one of us at any time, you don't know how much time you have left, right? It's kind of scary. But it's also motivating, right? Because I know in general, people like to procrastinate. Like every once in a while, we need these reminders that, hey, you may never get to do or get done what you need to do or want to do. We got more to do. So the reason I bring both these guys up, I think it's important to pay respect because, like, I don't know either of these guys. I never met them. I never talked to them. But I would say they did positively impact my life, just like many of you guys. Whether it was just maybe a Brad Allan movie that really entertained you, or maybe it inspired you to try, like, take up training in martial arts or even advance what you're doing, like watching him in a movie with Jackie Chan, for example, when he fought Jackie Chan in Gorgeous. The stuff he's doing, the movement, the quickness, it's like, how can that not inspire any martial artist to, like, step their game up, right? So, yeah, really talented individual. And then someone like John Meadows. So he coaches like a lot of IFBB pros and people that compete, but there's so much knowledge that you can get from his YouTube channel. He's got like over 500,000 subs, great videos. Even if you're just like a weekend warrior or just like a gym rat who loves training but never wants to compete, there's great knowledge and great training videos, great advice that you could take. And I watch a lot of his videos. My brother watches him. My good friends watch him. I had people like let me know, hey, John Meadows passed away. And I heard that first, and then I let my brother, another good buddy know. But I had other people telling me that. And of course, a lot of people, more people on that channel was telling me about Brad Allan, right? Because I do cover martial arts a lot more than bodybuilding on this channel. But in general, like, they have positively impacted my life. So I do want to pay respect to them. And, the silver lining, and this is an important thing, basically, live a meaningful life, do what you love, live with passion, share that passion to others. Brad Allan in the stunts, the martial arts, he got to make a living doing what he loves and sharing that. John Meadows with bodybuilding and fitness, like a lot of you guys that watch the channel love training. Can you imagine making a living doing it? Coaching, having a popular YouTube channel, having your own supplement company, etc. Like making a living doing what you love, but really just giving. And these guys are successful because they give, right? They're not like taking, they're giving us stuff, knowledge and inspiration, etc. So You know, that's essentially how we all need to live our lives, right? Because at the end of the day, the destination is the same for all of us. That's the one commonality we have. Like, we all have different starts, different beginnings. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the roadside attractions. Enjoy the scenery. Enjoy the detours. You don't know where there's going to take you. At the end of the day, it's always the same destination, unfortunately. You just got to enjoy that journey. Live it. So anyway, the video I was actually going to make kind of ties into this, because this was based on a comment that I got on my How Sylvester Stallone Built His Best Body Ever. It's like full diet training and physique analysis on Rocky 4. So, and it was a negative comment, and basically it was going to be like, don't be this guy. The thing is, this guy doesn't even have to be this guy. It's an attitude. Now, I don't know if he will ever change that attitude, but if you guys have a similar attitude or falling into this, because nobody just has this kind of attitude. They get it over time because they're jaded and all kinds of other things happen. You know, obviously, he's not a happy guy. I'll read you the comment and I will basically break it down. So when referring to how Stallone built his best body ever for Rocky 4 and inspired millions of us, millions and millions of us, again, a lot of positivity. Everybody loves Rocky 4. I mean, Rocky 4, I think the world is a better place because of a movie like Rocky 4, to be perfectly honest with you. Like, it had gotten so many of us in the gym, so many of us chasing our dreams, so many of us, just the motivation alone from something like Rocky 4, man. And it's just a great movie, so if you never step foot in the gym and you just, it's entertaining as hell, man. It's entertaining as hell. But anyway, the guy says, Joseph Monaco, again, this guy doesn't even have to be this guy. This guy could just change his attitude and be a happier, more productive guy.
Attitude is a product of what? Belief. When your belief system changes, your entire life transforms.
He said, and this is all in caps lock, by the way. Guess he really wanted to get his point across. He said, who gives a shit? I'll tell you the answer real quick. Lots of money, time, best diet, best bodybuilding trainers, working out 4 to 5 days a week, don't have to work for a living, no stress, 8 hours of sleep, weighted on hand and foot. He didn't have to do anything in reality except for whipping his own butt, if he even did that. That's how you get a great body when you play work in Hollywood. Now, I had replied and said, there are plenty of people who work 60 hours a week and still get their butts in the gym 4 to 5 days a week. You sound like the type that likes to use excuses in order to not put the work in. So, let me further break it down. Let me further break it down for you. The one thing we all have in common, aside from what I mentioned, the destination at the end, unfortunately, is we all have the same amount of time. Now, some people are afforded the luxury of, you know, maybe having more free time, right? But at the end of the day, you just use what you have. You make the best use of it. So, when he talks about this stuff, no stress, Stallone has no stress. Are you telling me, like, writing Rocky 4, directing Rocky 4, having to deliver, you know, something that makes a lot of money? Because at the end of the day, if you don't, your writer, director, actor, your money makes no money. Bye. You're either straight to video or not working anymore. There's a little bit of stress there. 8 hours of sleep. I don't think Stallone sleeps 8 hours, to be perfectly honest. This man is like, the work ethic this man does, I don't think his schedule would allow him to get 8 hours of sleep. And the guy's talking about if he ever did that, like in reference to training hard. Stallone is a freaking animal in the gym. He's in his 70s and he's still working out harder than college guys, right? Again, you know, this is like a classic hater, but here's the takeaway. This guy, like, you basically use what you got, right? You want to design a routine. This is what I'll tell anybody. How many free days, not even free days, like, how many days legitimately can you get in the gym? There's very few guys, girls, whatever, that can't get in the gym at least 3 days a week. Maybe it's got to be Saturday, Sunday, and then maybe Wednesday. You build a routine off of 3 days. You use what you got. Even if you have an hour, get up a half hour earlier, go to bed a half hour later. Boom, there goes your hour. So, this guy really fell into what I unfortunately think is a problem with society at large. It's that victim mentality. It's just, you fall into that, and it's hard for people to crawl out. Because think about it, they don't have to take any accountability. Why are you fat? Why are you out of shape? Why are you stupid? Well, I don't have time to read. I don't have time to go to the gym. I don't have time to eat good. Yeah, you do. Yes, you do. But you're telling yourself you don't, so then you won't. You know, basically, you are powerless. You are powerless, and I think this is a problem that the mainstream media actually wants you to be powerless. They don't want you to think you can do anything for yourself. You get rid of that attitude, sky's the limit, man. Sky is the absolute limit once you get rid of that.
Your life is what you think it should be. Whatever you believe about yourself, that's what you will be and always be. So if you want to change yourself, you got to change the way you think about yourself. I know this sounds like you heard it before, but you didn't. I'm telling you.
So that is an attitude. That is that you are a victim in your own mind. You are your biggest obstacle at the end of the day. So, and sometimes we need a stark reminder, like somebody in their 40s, like Brad Allan or John Meadows passing away, because then it's just like, wait a minute, I don't have that much time. I may have less time than I realize. Am I happy in my life? Am I doing what I love? Am I, basically working towards something that I can be proud of and maybe leaving my legacy in some way?
Why do you think you exist?
I mean, if you're saying no, it's not too late. I mean, look at somebody like Bruce Lee. Look at this. This guy passed away 32 years old. Now, let's take out the first 20 years. It's not like we know Bruce Lee from what he did in the first 20 years. I mean, yeah, he was training in martial arts, which helped him later. But look what this man did in 12 years, or even 10 years. Go 22 to 32. Look what this man has done in 10 years. So, regardless of where you are now in your life, let's say you're 40 years old. Imagine what you can do by the time you're 50. Imagine the possibilities, man. So anyway, that's my message. I'm middle-aged myself. I feel like this is just the beginning, man. Like, yeah, I've had some fun experience and I've done some stuff, and if you want to call it the first half of my life, because they do call this middle-aged, there's so much more I plan to do and will do, and I hope you guys are along for the ride as far as like you doing it in your own lives as well. So, think about that. And if you're young, hell, if you're 20, just imagine what you can do by the time you're 30 or 40. And even by the time you're 40, that could just be the start of much bigger things. So anyway, don't be this guy. This guy doesn't even have to be this guy. It's that attitude, man. And that victim mentality really kind of pisses me off, because I hate to see somebody who is so powerless. It's like the opposite of what people get who work out or who do martial arts. It's very empowering, and it creates like a different attitude, right? Like, you are not going to be a victim. Now, in some instances, yes, you may be a victim. You may have got mugged. You may have got robbed, etc. But to stay in that state of mind and see yourself as a victim, you got to be honest with yourself. Maybe you don't even realize that you are making yourself a victim. It's not society. It's not the system. Trust me, we got it pretty goddamn good in America, and wherever country you're in, it's probably not as bad as you think if you're watching this video, because you, at the minimum, at least got electricity, you got an internet connection. I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't even have that in this world. A lot of people don't even have that. So be grateful with what you have and work with what you have. Whatever you have, I guarantee you there are so many people that are working with way less, able to achieve way more. So be one of those guys, man. Inspire other people if you can.
Stop being an employee just paying bills and keeping the mortgage going, and you become someone who realized I was supposed to make a contribution to the world before I die. There's a big difference between the two ways of thinking.
Anyway, that's my whole message there. Hopefully that'll light a fire under you to achieve your goals. I'm working on some big things, by the way, and I'll have announcements soon. So, we all just got to keep going, but at the same time, just enjoy the journey. And if you're not happy with what you're doing, make changes now. So maybe not necessarily tomorrow, but at least next week, next month, next year, you don't have to be involved with what you dislike now. You can completely transform your life. Anyway, hope you guys liked the video. Please give a thumbs up if you did, subscribe to the channel, share the video, and I'll see you guys next time.